Episode 83. Are these comics going to make great movies and television shows? We got Batman and Robin, and we got Shazam, and we got Relight. Let's check it out right now. Relight. Let's check it out right now. Relight. Let's check it out right now. Relight. Let's check it. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for spending time with me as I rant about movies, comics, and television shows, as well as board games occasionally. So I am your host, Frank Zanca. I'm an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer, and soon to be back on set because I'm also a line producer, but I haven't been in quite a while due to all the strikes. And we do have another strike coming up in August with the IATSE, unfortunately. So nobody in the industry is pretty much working except for a few television shows, and that's it. No movies are really starting at this time because they know they're going to have to shut down. So anyway, if you want to read anything that I've written, I am on Amazon under my name, Frank Zanca. I am on Audible as well with Destiny Aurora. And my comic is presently on Fund My Comic. We successfully funded it through Kickstarter, and now we're just getting a few extra dollars in for a few extra pages that I have to finish up. In fact, I need to hit my artist up and see when the next page is coming to me. Because we're ready to fulfill. We only have like 7 pages left, and we're ready to go. So out of the 48, it was 48 pages, so we're pretty far in. All right, so let's check out, and it's called Lords of L.A. I forgot to even say what the book was. It's called Lords of L.A. It's a vampire mob set in 1950s Hollywood. I'll talk about that a little more on the back end. All right, so let's jump into Batman and Robin. This is by Joshua Williamson. So we're back to the previous artist, and I was not happy with the previous artist. At least they changed out the colorist. I don't like this anime kind of look that they're going with it. Some of the pages are all right. So like the first page here, I mean, he's got something coming out of his eye, and I don't really get that. But this is the storyline of Bruce lost all his money. He lost his whole family. He lost the Batcave. He lost everything. I don't know what the writers are doing with Batman right now, but everything they can do to deconstruct him, they're doing, and I'm not liking any of it. This is the only Bat book I'm buying right now. Even Catwoman has turned to crap with Teenie Howard. They did a really bad crossover, and I just dropped everything when they did the Gotham War thing. It was really horrible. Some people are still buying Batman by Chip Zdarsky, but I'm not one of them. I think it's complete garbage. So, and this whole Zur-En-Arrh thing, I don't like any of that. It's all crap to me. The only thing that keeps this book together is the relationship that Bruce has or is developing with Damian. That's the only interesting part of this. We have a new villain that's based on Hush, but a female version called Shush, which is really stupid. But I like a lot of the other parts of things, so I am continuing with it. So we have Man-Bat is hooked up with Shush, and they're creating some kind of a cult. I don't know, man. It's into the deep end, man. Yep, all these writers are like sucking in that shit. I don't know why we can't get a normal kind of storyline. But anyway, see how it's kind of anime. So they talk about all the different Robins and stuff like that. But Flatline, which I did not collect the Robin annual, but I guess she was in there. It's not. I just checked. It's not going for anything, so nobody thinks that the character's going for anything. But anyway, so Man-Bat's over here, his cult right there, and Shush is like, "What's going on?" That's Shush right there at the top, in the bandages because she looks like Hush. And he's like, "My serum is almost complete." Whatever. So then we switch over to the rooftop where we have, Flatline talking to Batman. And Flatline's like, "Yeah, he told me everything about you. And, yeah, he told me everything about you, too." And so we flash back to them, smooching up. And she's like, "I need to find my sister. I need to find my sister. Can anybody help me find my sister?" And then we switch back to the sister and her, which I can't tell the difference. And get this. So she's like, and Lord Deathman, what kind of name is Lord Deathman? I mean, that's got to be the stupidest name I've ever heard. Lord Death would have been better. Just kick the man off. I mean, just that was snuggling up to him and blah, blah. And he says, I'll go help you. And he says, all right, I'm going to go look for the Man-Bat situation. And you, Flatline and Robin will go and look for her sister. And Batman says, no killing. And she goes, okay, got it. I'm not going to kill anybody, I swear. So he says, be careful to Damian. And they go off. And then he has this cute little smile that he's proud of him kind of forging his own way. And also knowing that him with a girl, even with a psychotic girl, that, you know, maybe that would open up his social, because he's got some social ineptitudes. Which is kind of what gives him his, his charm, is his social ineptitudes. So she asked him, how's it going with your dad? And, we were flashing back to all these Polaroids, and because apparently he can't even afford a camera. Or a phone with a camera. But again, that's the charm of this book, is the relationship with Damian. And I have no idea what her powers even are, but apparently she has powers. And he says, I don't know, she came here, all I have is this name of a bartender named Slim. But apparently she is talking to the ghost of Ra's al Ghul. And Ra's al Ghul says to her, tell my grandson the truth about why you wanted to see him. Time is running out. Because Ra's al Ghul was shot in the head by Deathstroke, I believe. Quite a while ago. Apparently he's still dead. I didn't realize he was still dead. But anyway, Robin says, but apparently he doesn't tell him. And Robin's like, well, I think I know where this guy Slim is. He's a bartender over at Iceberg. Of course, that's probably the only Slim. Get a little bit more specific. But okay, let's bypass that. So they go to the Iceberg round. Of course, it is the Penguin. And there's an actual asterisk here that says he's not really dead. Yeah, duh. It says this, but Penguin didn't really die. Check out the Penguin in stores now for the details. So here's let us plug another book. So anyway, the Iceberg Lounge is apparently filled with henchmen, which they fight, and they're all happy that they have people to fight now. So they do. All of a sudden, she's got a knife to her throat, and it's her sister, who now also has white hair, and apparently also has powers. And what? You got powers? I don't know what those powers are, so it kind of lost on me. But then we switch over to Batman, who is questioning one of the cultists from Man-Bat. And he's like, why are you doing this? And the guy takes a pill and like, take a chill pill. Oh, not that one. Not that one. That's going to do bad things to you. It's going to give you indigestion. Oh, no, it's too late. So apparently the guy dies, and then this hooded creature comes up here, or person, not really a creature. And he says, apparently we have the same enemy, and just shows up, and apparently they're going to hook up together, because it says deadly duo down here. So, yeah. So I like it. It's got some holes, but overall it's pretty good. I like that they have two deviant storylines going on, and it's good to see Robin. Like some of the best stuff with Tim is when he and Spoiler were together, and of course that's never going to happen again. But that was some of the best Tim Drake stuff because they evened each other out, and they were both heroes, so we got to see them all together a lot. Again, not anymore because Tim Drake is now gay. Why ruin that relationship when it was such a great relationship? That was what made Tim different, was that relationship. And now there's just that they might as well kill that character off. There's just nothing left of him. Where now we're doing this with Damian, I really wish that this Flatline character was part of the Bat family so we can get to see, them more and more, or part of the Titans or whatever. But we'll see what happens with it. And but we're going to see a Batman and Robin movie, so with Damian, so it's already kind of happening. So let's jump into Shazam, and yes, it's an older book, but it is signed by the Mark DeWade. And the last issue was really silly. So Billy was on the moon. He's getting controlled by the gods, but instead of giving him, well, they do give him the Shazam things because that's Zeus's strength and or Achilles' strength and wisdom of Solomon and all that of the stuff that comes along with the Shazam powers. Now the same gods are also throwing their bad traits at him, so he's acting weird. He doesn't want to change, but then he saves these gorillas from Gorilla City that just happen to be on a bus in Philadelphia or some stuff. They were on some kind of, I don't know, vacation. I don't know. Does Gorilla City have like a tourist? I don't know. Where's my travel agent? Just call 911 Ape City. That's weird, dude. That's weird. So anyway, Billy takes them back, but then he finds this guy named Ted or something like that. It's not even a guy. It's an ape called Ted. And he's trying to get... He says, this is weapons of mass destruction, and it's on the moon. So the captain, that's what they're calling him, the captain, so they can't call him Captain Marvel. So the captain goes to the moon and ends up running into Queen Bee there. And, of course, the gods have him all messed up. And so he's, like, reverting into different things. And so he gets into this fight, but then the gorillas actually show up on the moon. It didn't take them very long to get there either. They just hopped in a spaceship and went. Oh, yay. But anyway, so Billy changed back because he didn't like what the powers were doing to him. But then he gets pushed off and he's literally floating through space as a boy. Which he'd last all of about 10 seconds before he would be dead. But Mary Marvel shows up. And I really like how... I'm a big fan of Mary Marvel, probably more than Shazam, than Captain Marvel. And I think she's great, and I liked her in the movies too. So maybe we should just do a Mary Marvel movie. I like that they're teaming up her with the Amazons too. We haven't seen the new issue of that yet. But anyway, she comes in and saves him against Queen Bee. But again, he'd be dead. I mean, look at him. He's pretty freaking dead. So the only way she can save him is by saying Shazam. But I think that would change her back. So she says it over him, so the lightning bolt goes to him as well. Which is odd, too, because her lightning bolt, I don't know. I guess because he's in order with the powers. Anyway, it wouldn't just change. If somebody else was there, I guess it would fry them. I don't know. But anyway, he's back to normal, however this worked. Even though she didn't change, I guess she walked out of the way. I don't know how that worked. But I guess that's just the thing, is that she walked out of the way and it hit him instead, I guess. So anyway, they start fighting everybody, and Queen Bee's like, oh my god, no! And meanwhile, the other guy is turned into a bee that's in the corner there over her shoulder. And he was the one that had the warp drive. So it wasn't a weapon of mass destruction, it was actually a warp drive, so she could go all over the place and try to rule the galaxy or whatever. So she changes him back to normal size. And he pulls down the pants of the gorilla. And he's like, ha ha, that's really funny. And she's like, you're acting really weird. What's going on? And then he immediately changes his personality to anger. And, pulls the guy up that looks a little bit like Brainiac. And he's like, give me the weapon. He's like, it's not a weapon. And I guess he pukes it out. And he's no longer fat anymore. Because that was literally what was making him fat. Was the warp drive in his stomach. Mark Waid, man, you gotta get off whatever you're on, bro. You gotta get off it. So Queen Bee comes up and goes, well, bam! And the gorilla's like, look, my warp drive, I finally get it back. So yeah, now we switch over to the alien dinosaur, and I really don't want to get into the alien dinosaur on this one. I really don't want to. I think it's retarded. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to. But Mary Marvel looks really good there, and she bitch slaps Queen Bee. She's like, oh, bitch slap! And she's like, Billy, you just said that you were a god, so what are you talking about? What's going on with you? And he's like, I don't want to talk about it. I'll save it for my psychiatrist. So anyway, the gorillas start running away with the warp drive, and he's like, I got it. But then he slips on a rock and falls. But I don't know how you would slip on a rock and fall when you're on the moon. There's no gravity on the moon, Mark. You would float. You would float. You would not fall on your face. But anyway, the warp drive goes off, and he's like, oh no, Ted, you butthole, what are you doing? You're destroying the moon. And look, the moon starts spinning. Okay. If the moon spun that fast, what do you think would happen to the Earth? Tidal waves and everything else are connected to the moon. Just say it. So anyway, Billy tries to stop the spinning of the moon with his hands. Okay, man. Okay. But I guess it works. I don't know. I'm totally confused by this. But the moon stops, so... And he's like, whoa, that was amazing. I don't know. So he punts off the ship there or whatever and sends the monkeys back. The apes back to the island. Meanwhile, the gods are all conspiring, and this is the last page, I think. So he's like, I'm not going to take your powers back. I'm not doing this anymore. You guys have messed with it just too much. But Freddy goes. Freddy's there, by the way, on the Rock of Eternity. But Freddy says, if you don't want them, I'll take them all. Because I guess they don't have their powers anymore. And he's like, Freddy, what are you doing? And that's the end. Mark, man. I don't know what he's doing, but that's a little bit woo way out there, man. Stopping the moon, having monkeys on the moon, having no gravity, having it spinning around, not affecting the Earth in any way. These people don't know anything about science, apparently. Well, they even did that in Fantastic Four. I forgot who it was. Was it Jonathan Hickman? I forgot who it was. That made the entire moon disappear. The moon disappeared. It didn't affect the Earth at all. Everybody's like, oh my God, our moon is gone. And Reed even says, well, there's other planets that don't have moons. Yeah, but they don't have living planet. They don't live living things on the planet, dude. Oh my God. Take one semester of science, please. Go back to high school. Oh, these people. Anyway, let's jump into AWA. This is issue 3 of 4 of Relight. This is about the sex android. And, of course, it's like every sex android movie there is. She's trying to be a person, find out, I want to be a part of your world. Yeah, it's like that. Little Mermaid shit. She even has red hair. So anyway, she runs into a living human girl. I don't say living, but human girl who has also never been outside of whatever this brothel thing that Mr. rules. That's literally his name is Mr. That's what she calls him, Mr. So I just call him Mr. But anyway, with the help of one of her clients, she gets out, and now she's out with Natalie, which is the little girl, and she's like, "Look at this, and look at this, and look at this," because she's never seen any of it. So they're out running around, and she goes to a place where another one of her clients is, who's kind of expecting her. So the city looks pretty cool. It's very Vegas meets Blade Runner. And of course, it's in the future because we have, realistic looking, androids. But they go through some kind of scanning device, and I guess they're afraid that they're going to get caught, but they don't. But there's Mr. behind the desk, and he hires this dude, and he says, "You must track her down." And he says, "Well, do I have a lead?" He says, "No, but I know somebody who does." And here's what they look like. And then we switch back to Lacey and Natalie, going through this like casino thing, and they're like, little girl shouldn't be in the casino. She's like, "Well, she's never seen it before." And then they find like a robot fighting arena, and she's kind of put off by it, that it's to the death. So one robot kills another robot. So we go, then she's, the dealers are all robots, and she's like, "I wonder if the dealers have, seen the outside of this casino," so she's feeling empathetic, and then as they go up the elevator, she's like, "Well, that's the same view that I had from Mr.'s apartment," and she hooks up with her client, and she's like, "I want to see the world," and her client's like, No, you have to stay here. So she's got kind of back in another prison, but I guess she's kind of figuring things out, but she can't get repaired or anything else at this point. And he gives a dog. That's right, he gives a dog to Natalie, and she's like, "What is this thing that's licking me like that? Get off my cheek." So, but yeah, so they obviously, he gets sex in it and the whole bit. But then she decides that she's going to change everything about herself, and of course, like any woman, the first thing they do is change her hair. So she cuts her hair off and turns it black, so now she looks like Catwoman. She looks like Selena Kyle now, instead of Ariel. And meanwhile, the guy that they're questioning is the guy that took the chip out of her head. That was the like the GPS chip, the kill switch, and everything else was all attached to that. And they really fuck him up bad. And so, but he's holding. He held for a long time. But then he's like, "All right, well, what do you want to start with, your fingers or your toes?" And he's like, "What?" He's like, "I'm just going to start snipping them off, and eventually you'll talk." And that's probably true. So I guess they snip something off, and he finally says, "They're with Mars." And they leave him there, and I don't know if they kill him or not, but he almost looks like he got an eye out there, but I don't think so. But anyway, so they, Mr. made Lacey look like his wife, which I believe she's dead, or left him, one or the other. And then we switch over to them at the casino, and this is where they said they shouldn't have little girls in the casino. And she's like, "I just want to learn how this works." And he's like, "All right, you can stay." And meanwhile, she's counting cards, and he's like, "Yeah, you're not supposed to do that." And she's like, "Why? I don't know how else to do anything else, because my brain just works that way because I have a computer brain." And so, of course, she's winning right and left because she's counting cards. So I found that kind of interesting. And she's won all this money. And meanwhile, now the bounty hunter guy is in the building. And, he finds that all the switches there, have biometric locks. So he comes up behind the security guard who's leading him, and he shoots him in the back of the head, and then he cuts his finger off. And meanwhile, they're ordering ice cream, but we know that he's on his way, and it goes ding, and he's like, "Oh, I can't wait for ice cream, strawberry ice cream, yay!" Apparently, there's no strawberry ice cream in this guy's future. He shoots him and he's dead. And now they're like, okay, what do we do now? So, yeah, it's pretty good. I don't know what's going to happen. There's only one issue left. So, I mean, I'll collect anything for 4 issues. But yeah, I just want to see what's different about it, because right now we've seen this a million times over. Let's see how it ends. But right now there's nothing new about this story. So let's see how it ends and see if anything new was brought into it. All right, Shazam is just silly. I love seeing Mary Marvel in here, and I think Dan Mora's art is great, but it's just silly. And Batman and Robin, we're really going to see a movie about it, but I like where this is going. If you're not reading it, of all the Bat books, this is probably the best one. So, yeah, I like that they brought Flatline into it, and I like the relationship between him and Bruce. So that's what keeps this thing going, is the characters, which is great. And that's really all you need. All right, well, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. This one went a little bit longer than normal. But I think I got a little bit too into it. Hopefully I was entertaining. All right, well, also remember to give me a like and a subscribe. I am trying to build the channel out. And if you're not subscribed, why the hell not? It's free. Click the little bell. Give me the thumbs up. Give me the middle finger. Whatever. Call me all sorts of names. Anyway, let me know what you guys are collecting. If there's anything out there that I should be reading that I'm not. I do collect things up to the point of I don't like them. Then I stop. I'm definitely not a completionist when it comes to comics. Also, if you want to give anything to Lords of LA and get digital copies or signed printed copies, I have issue 1 and issue 2. It's my vampire mob set in 1950s called Lords of LA. And it's a vampire mob set in 1950s Hollywood with a guest appearance by Marilyn Monroe. And it is a mature book, so it has plenty of blood, sex, and fangs. And it is a revenge story, as well as, we're going to have a werepanther in it in the next one, so we have some monster action and stuff like that going on. Anyway, check that out in the link below in the description. And Mark Spears and I are still working diligently on... we moved the date back for Myth Lords, which is my deck builder area control game with classic monsters with Mark Spears art. Mark Spears does cover art for Spawn and Power Rangers and Vampirella and stuff like that. He did a Headless Horseman one. I forgot what book that was for. But anyway, so all that art is in my game. And yeah, we moved the date back to May 7th, so I'm trying to get my samples in so that we can get reviews to launch this thing. All right, thank you guys again, and check out some other videos, and you guys have a great one, and I'll see you on the next episode. All right, bye.